Hey guys, thanks for clicking on this video. We are about to show you how to do the car headliner. So if you're looking for the steps to repair a car headliner that's sagging, we'll show you all that through now. This one's already just been done, but we managed to record the whole lot. So it's a great day outside, the sun's out, so it's all bright. You'll be able to see what we're doing. It's not being done in a dark garage. So yeah, we look forward to showing you this one. The best thing you can do if you like this video, leave a comment below. It helps this video get viewed more on YouTube. Also give it a thumbs up if you like the content and subscribe. Anyway, let's get stuck into it. Cheers.
So you can see here guys how the headlining board is sagging in the center, also up the front here, and what makes them sag is just the foam that gets old and crumbly, and it makes the fabric detach itself from the headlining board. So to remove the headlining board, here are some basic tools you're going to need. Usually just a screwdriver, and also sometimes you need certain bits like Torx head screw bits to actually fit on the bolts. We start by reclining the two front seats, push them back and recline them all the way back. Also we lay a blanket down in the center part where we're sitting just to protect the interior. And now we can move into taking some plastics off. The car we're working on today is a Holden VE Commodore wagon, and sometimes those grab handles are only held in by a Phillips head screw, but on this car I think it's like a T15 or a T25 Torx head screw bit that you actually got to drop down those screws with. And we're just checking the lights prior to working on this car just to make sure they all work, and that way if they do play up, we kind of know that it was the headlining process that made them not work, and we can rectify the issue there. So we're just taking the sun visors down now. Same thing, there was just a few screws. They're usually quite simple here. Also, if the sun visor has got like a light in there, you're going to have wirings that you have to unplug. So when you take down that screw there and drop down that sun visor plug, there may be a wiring harness where you just have to unplug it. On this car, however, there's no wiring, there's no lights there, it's just a mirror. So take off that sun visor clip. So far we've done the grab handles, the sun visors, and that's usually all you need. Then there's just like drop down the sills around the outside. We can usually just flex the headlining board away from the pillars, so we don't have to actually remove all pillars, and that saves us a lot of time there. Also we prevent things from breaking, because pillars, the plastics on them, they're exposed to a lot of heat, a lot of sunlight, and they can get quite brittle. So if we can avoid removing them completely, well then that's great, because then we can prevent any breakages as well. So once we've done that, we just loosen the headlining board away from the A, B and C pillars. The rear section, we're just going to be pulling the headlining board away from the whole rear pillar section, so that's all good. We'll just drop down the sunglasses console now. Most sunglasses consoles can be dropped down quite easily. However, on this car we actually leave the sunglasses console inside the car, so we kind of unbolt it, slide it up through the gap of the headlining, and then refix it back in there. That way we don't have to unplug the wires at the back, because they get quite fragile, and if you break those wires, the whole system of the lighting system on these cars don't work, and it costs about you know, $90 for maybe an auto electrician to come in and solder those wires back, because they actually get quite brittle. So we found on these cars you can take out the wiring harness to the sunglasses console, but we prefer leave the sunglasses console bolted inside the car, and we just peel the wiring harness away from the headlining board. It makes for just a faster, easier process, plus you know you're not going to be damaging that wire to the sunglasses console. But that's really only on this car, so that's all good. We can move ahead. And so we've got the right side of the car now dropped down. We get behind the headlining board and peel off the wiring harness, whatever needs to come off there. This is the rear section. We're just making taking off that rear panel piece, that way we can get in there. There's a few screws and bolts holding this rear headlining in place, so we've got to take those out for the headlining board to shift forward, and then we can take it out completely out the car. So there we go. Just finishing up now, taking off the wiring on the back of the headlining board. So there's a center dome light that we just got to unplug here, and then once that's dropped down, this headliner board now is ready to come out. So because it's a wagon, we're going to be taking out through the rear tailgate, but if yours was a sedan model, we would usually take it out through the front passenger door or the rear driver's side door, with the seats fully reclined and pushed back, and we just slowly flex and bow the headlining board out those those door gaps there. These headliner boards have got a bit of flex to them, and if you do put a split or a breakage in the headlining board, you can repair those breakages usually with a bit of cloth tape, and you can reinforce that split, or you can go to the extent of maybe refiberglassing, or like a compound where you reinforce it all back together again. So headlining board's removed now. Take off the old material, and you can see here the old original foam has gone all orange and crumbly. That's what makes the headlining board sag. So it's not a glue issue. The glue is fine on these cars from factory. It's if the foam just gets old, starts to crumble, and it's usually heat related. So if the car has a history of being out in the sun or comes from a warmer climate, well then the headlining board's going to sag much faster. So we've done cars where maybe in 7 years it's completely sagged from brand new from factory. So we're moving to the preparation and cleaning now. So a scrubbing brush is mainly the main item that you need here to remove the old original foam. You want to scrub the board nice and clean and get off all that foam. Get the board to a nice clean surface, ready to apply brand new glue and the brand new material. So if the old foam is difficult to remove, you can use an orbital sander here, but that's only if the headlining board is a nice strong headlining board that can withstand a bit of sanding. Here we grabbed the safety gear, eye protection, respirator and some chemical gloves. Usually we would have a pair of overalls that we'll chuck on as well. And now we'll just make sure that headlining board is nice and cleaned. So we're just using a soft brush here. You can use a air blower as well to take it down to a nice clean surface, ready to have that glue sprayed onto it. So you can see here guys that we're dealing with a nice clean surface, but if the customer went out and got a can of glue in hopes to try to hold up their own headlining board, what you'll find that we would have to sit here right now and sand down all that new glue that they've added. So that's why I try to educate the audience about not to add glue. It doesn't hold up the headlining boards. You actually you can use like quick methods like staples or drawing pins, but ideally that headlining board needs to be removed completely out the car. The old material needs to go in the bin, and the old foam gets scrubbed off. That all goes in the bin, and you've got to reapply brand new material to fix the issue, guys. So here is our roll of brand new material. It's foam backed headlining material, so the foam comes in the one shot, so you don't have to add the foam then the material. You're basically adding the foam and the material, the fabric in one shot. So we measure that out. Here's a bit about the fabrics you can choose. So there's flat knit fabrics, which is a bit of a stitch pattern to the headlining material, or there's velour fabrics, which is got that more of a softer type of feel. They're the two styles of headlining materials you can buy, and here they are up close. You got the flat knit on the left and the velour on the right. So I do realise you guys could probably go to a local craft store and buy your maybe some custom material just to mix things up, but I do recommend using headlining graded material because it's got that UV protection there. It's also designed to withstand some of the probably the harsh heat that it might be exposed to, and ideally it's just designed to stay up there long term. So here we are grabbing that cylinder rod so we can bend that fabric over 50%, and basically that just prevents us from getting that harsh crease line that might come in the material there. But if you do get any imperfections and creases in the headlining board, usually yeah, don't stress, just put it back in the car, reinstall it back in, and usually after the car warms up after a few days, any imperfections and creases will dissolve themselves out. So here we are adding a bit of glue, usually spray left to right, overlapping about 50% each time. A good can of glue to buy would be maybe the 3M 76 high-tack spray adhesive, or another brand would be a Permatex carpet and headlining glue, but we'll put some links in the description below for you guys to check out there. So yeah, we're just spraying a bit of glue now, overlapping that glue as we're spraying it about 50% each time. We would cover one half of the headlining board first, and we'll go up and down, and then we'll go left to right. And what we'll do after that is we will spray glue again in the high stress areas. So these are areas where the headlining material may be placed under a lot of stress or a lot of tension. So that's usually around any curves or any bends in the headlining board where you know the headlining material has to be fed into those gaps and follow the shape of the headlining board. So here we are spraying the back of that material. Because it's foam back headlining material, that glue that you're adding is not going to seep through it and show a visible stain. And then we fold the headlining material over, and now it's ready to be do the other side. So with our glue that we're using now, we're usually able to spray one half of the headlining material, and then we've got time before the glue dries to do the other half. So yeah, that's what we're doing right here, but you can stop here and just maybe focus on sticking down that first half and then move to the second half. But once that's all done, we fold that headlining material over. Now we've got glue on the back of the material and the back of the board, and it's all ready to be stuck down. So if you're looking for more process and more steps on how to do a headlining repair, you can check out our latest ebook called Headlining Secrets, where we will leave no stone unturned. We will go into all the steps, the process, common problems to watch out for, go into about the glues, the materials to use, and it's just more detail about the headlining repair process. So that will be in text and pictures. Guys can follow along. But other than that, moving ahead, we're adding the material now. So just gently feeding the material into all the individual shape of the headlining board that you might have. So with this one, you've got like you know, the grab handles where you got to focus to make sure you get that a lot of that material deep into those gaps. You don't want to place it under high tension or high stress there, because that's where the headlining material may start to sag again, because you put it under a lot of tension. So really you're just feeding the material and not placing it under a lot of stress when you're pushing it into those gaps. And this is looking at pretty good, so we'll just move along now and just keep applying that material. One thing that we do, we actually overlap the material around the edge. Now from factory, most cars, they just laser jet the material right to the edge and cut it. That's why their headlinings kind of like start to sag there, because that's where the sun gets and the wind and all that type of stuff. So for us, we always overlap all the material. It doesn't hurt the installation process. And yeah, I don't know why people don't do that during the recovery stage. It's there, you might as well just do it while you're there. Just overlap the material. It just provides that maybe that better adhesion, and you know it's never going to sag from the edges again. So that's one tip there you guys can definitely apply. Don't razor cut it straight to the edge like the factory. Just while you're there, just overlap it all. So yeah, this is turning out pretty good. We're almost finished now, just applying that material to the front base of the headlining. And once that's all done, we're going to be flipping the headlining board over just to finalize the glue adhesion and the material to the rear section where we overlap it all. How you doing there so far, guys? I know this is a lot of info and steps to take in. You got to realize that we have been doing this for like over 10 years now, so for us we're probably explaining it way too easily, but like we do these things now, like done so many of them that we're probably doing them in our sleep these days, you know what I mean? So it's pretty easy to follow along with. It's not too overwhelming. We do just stick to roof linings and headlinings. That way we don't get overwhelmed ourselves. That's the only thing we're doing, is just headlining, just roof linings. We said no to door trims, steering wheels, seats, tonneau covers, even though we've got a trade in all that type of material, skill level, but we just basically say no to it all. That way we can stick to things that are just simple and nothing really, it doesn't throw us any curveballs, and we can kind of just tackle along with our day. Because it's, you know, it can get overwhelmed by doing too much of the in the one trade. So you know, you're doing the whole upholstery trade. We just stick to just the roof linings now, and yeah, that way we can provide you guys hopefully with the correct way, the simplest way, the best quality way of doing a car headlining repair. So make sure you guys give this video a thumbs up. It helps this video grow on YouTube. Maybe leave a comment below, hit that subscribe button, and yeah, just provides this YouTube channel with good analytics. So here we are, we're cutting the headlining material away from the underneath side now. So we usually maybe have 1 inch to 2 inches overlap, and we'll trim just the areas where you need to just kind of like release it a bit, that way it can flex over. So any curves there, we're actually applying a bit of cuts there, that way as the headlining material folds over, it folds over without any tension. It's a bit of an upholstery thing that we kind of learnt during the furniture upholstery trade. But yeah, so that's the headlining board all done now, and we're just wrapping that material over the edge. So it's turning out quite well, quite neat and tidy. It's good that we're showing you guys how to do this out in the sun, not in the dark garage in the shed, because you guys can see and follow along quite easily. So hopefully you know, hopefully that's working out for you guys and you're appreciating this content. Yeah, so fold that material over all the edges, nice and clean and neat and tidy there. And once that's all done, we can move into cutting and razor blading out all the individual shapes and holes that we need to take out for the grab handles to go in, and the sun visor and the lights and all those plugs. We're just pushing down on the material right now here. We're just going around applying extra tension to pretty much the whole headlining board. That way we know that it's got good adhesion and we didn't miss any parts. So we're just going around just pushing the fabric down really tight, just to make sure that it's all there, it's all gripping, because you can't rely on, like, you know, going around the first time and maybe missing a few areas, because it might sag there again. A bit of cleaning products we're using here just to clean down the headlining board. It's just a general carpet foaming upholstery cleaner, because we find that brand doesn't leave any stains behind when it dries. So that's the Australian export brand, or you could buy the super cheap Auto brand foaming cleaner. And then we used a bit of Solvit citrus cleaner too. But there are other cleaning products you can use, like the Bowden's own brand, the Fabric Cadabra and the Orange Agent. They're pretty good too. So these are the two we're using in the video today. They're just like their carpet upholstery foaming cleaners. And the good thing about them, like I said, they don't leave any stain behind when they dry. So that's ideally what you want there. So just take your time here when you're cutting out those holes, because you don't want to make a mistake. We've gone so far already. And if you make a mistake here, you know, it's going to be quite hard to recover from. But maybe I should have recommended that you take a photo of the headlining board prior to any work at all. That way you can see the parameters of how big the cut holes were originally from factory, and then you've got a guideline to follow. So maybe that's a good tip to keep in mind before you start your job, just to take a photo of the headlining board and you can see the size of those holes. But the headlining board's ready to be reinstalled back in, so I don't know what's happened to the camera at the moment. We're upside down, but we're just going to have to deal with that. But with the wagon and the hatch models, you're going to be reinstalling it again through the rear tailgate. But a sedan model, you'll be doing it through the front driver's side, the driver's side rear door, or the front passenger's door, and with the seats fully reclined. We've done several videos already about how to remove a sedan headlining board without removing the windshield, because we have never removed any windshields doing roof linings. Keep that in mind, guys. When we learnt this trade through TAFE, yeah, it wasn't required, so just keep that in mind. You don't have to take out windshields. It probably make the job much easier, but like, yeah, we've never done it, don't have to. So you flex the headlining board under those pillars, and now it's all in place, ready to add those plastics back on. So a good thing here, guys, is just to make sure the headlining board's all lined up perfectly. We do this usually by the sun visor plug. That's a good indicator that things are lined up. And yeah, the grab handle here on the Holden VE Commodore is a bit more complex than most cars, because most cars might just have a couple of Phillips head screws that come out and then the grab handle comes off, and it's quite simple. This one, you got to line up that plastic bracket behind the headlining board, line up the grab handle itself with that, and then you got to make sure that's all lined up where the screw can go slide through nice and easily, and actually line up with the part where it's got to get screwed into. And if that metal bracket behind it falls out or is damaged, you've got to replace it as well. So there's a bit more involved here, and most the more modern cars are becoming, the you know, the more it's going to be time consuming to work on different bits and pieces. So yeah, I don't know what car you guys are going to be applying these steps to, but yeah, certain cars can get really complex. Basically the Volkswagens, the Jettas, the Golfs and the Passats, all those models, they get very difficult to take out the headlining board. Say cars like Ford Falcons and Holden Commodores, they get quite simple to work on. Well, for me, I pretty much do those cars every day, but like, they get much more easier to work on than some of these other European type of makes of cars. So keep that in mind. Not all cars are going to be as simple and as easy as other ones as well. So we're just applying a bit of cleaning product now, just to make sure we haven't left any you know, fingerprints around the place, and removing the imperfections and creases. So you can either just like use an upholstery skewer and just pull out any imperfections, but ideally once the car warms up after a few warm days, any imperfections, any you know, creases, whatever, it will just slowly come out as the foam expands as the car warms up. So that's all done, guys. Hope you liked the content, man, and if you did, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to this channel to help us grow, and we'll see you here on the next video.
Also guys, if you're looking for more steps, we have an ebook called Headlining Secrets, where we leave no stone unturned. You'll learn all the common problems to watch out for during these headlining repairs, the fabrics to use, the glues to use, and we'll just show you all the steps that we take in more detail. So if you're looking for more detail on how to do these roof linings after watching this video, make sure you click in the description below. There will be an ebook there titled Headlining Secrets. I'll show you pretty much the universal way to tackle most of these modern car headlining. So yeah. And before you go, guys, we do ask that if you like this content, give this video a thumbs up, click that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. It really helps us out, and we look forward to seeing you in the future doing your car headliner repair. And that's it, guys. Thanks for watching, thanks for your time. Cheers.